Hey friend, imagine this for a second. You're floating in the middle of the black Pacific Ocean at night, no land, no lights, just the endless slap of freezing waves against a broken piece of yacht railing you're clinging to. Your teeth are chattering so hard you can barely breathe. The woman beside you, the same woman who used to sign your paychecks with a single cold glance, is shaking so violently her designer blouse is torn and soaked. She turns to you, eyes wide with terror she's never shown in any boardroom, and whispers the words that will change both your lives forever. Will you help me get warm? You think you know what fear feels like. You think you know what loneliness feels like. Stay with me until the very last word of this story, because what happened next on that tiny piece of wreckage wasn't just survival, it was the night two broken people finally found each other. This is our story. And I promise, by the time you hear how it ends, you'll never look at your own impossible situations the same way again. My name is Alex Rivera. 34 years old, divorced, drowning in student loans, and working as senior assistant to Elena Voss, CEO of Pacific Dynamics, the woman the entire Silicon Valley feared and respected in equal measure. She was 41, brilliant, ruthless, and completely alone. Everyone knew her story, self-made billionaire who lost her husband in a car crash 7 years earlier and buried her grief under layers of spreadsheets and 4 a.m. emails. I used to hate her for it. Every time she made me redo a presentation at midnight or cancel my weekend plans, I told myself she was heartless. That Friday started like any other corporate retreat. Elena had insisted on taking the entire executive team out on her new 85-foot yacht off San Diego for team bonding. I was only invited because the real senior VP got food poisoning the night before. I remember standing on the deck in my cheap suit, watching her laugh for the first time ever, actually laugh, while the sunset painted the ocean gold. For one brief moment she looked human. Then the storm hit. It came out of nowhere. The sky turned black in minutes. Waves the size of houses slammed into the hull. I was below deck grabbing life jackets when I heard the explosion. The engine compartment had flooded and caught fire. Chaos. Screaming. People jumping into the water. I fought my way back up just in time to see Elena lose her grip on the railing and slide toward the edge. Without thinking I lunged, grabbed her wrist, and we both went over together. The yacht sank in under 4 minutes. When I broke the surface again, coughing salt water, the only thing left was a mangled section of the stern railing with a shredded life vest still tangled in it. Elena was already clinging to it, half-conscious, blood trickling from a cut above her eyebrow. I swam to her, wrapped the vest around both of us, and held on for dear life as the current dragged us farther and farther from where the others had gone in. For the first hour we didn't speak. The waves kept trying to tear us apart. Every time a swell lifted us I was sure it was the last. Elena's teeth chattered so loudly I could hear them over the wind. My own body was going numb. I kept thinking about my 8-year-old daughter waiting for me to pick her up from her grandma's house that night. The thought of never seeing her again hurt worse than the cold. Around midnight the storm finally eased into a cruel, dead calm. The stars came out, beautiful and indifferent. Elena's head rested against my shoulder, her breathing shallow. I could feel her shivering against me, but she still tried to keep distance, as if even now she refused to need anyone. I whispered, "We're going to die out here, aren't we?" She didn't answer for a long time. Then, so quietly I almost missed it, "I'm sorry, Alex. For everything." That was the first crack in the wall she'd built around herself for 7 years. I didn't know it yet, but that single apology was the beginning of everything that would save us both. The cold got worse. Hypothermia doesn't knock politely, it sneaks in and steals your will to live. My legs had stopped feeling anything. Elena's lips were turning blue. She kept drifting in and out of consciousness, murmuring her late husband's name. I held her tighter, trying to share whatever body heat I had left. That's when she suddenly opened her eyes, looked straight into mine, and said the words that still echo in my dreams. "Will you help me get warm?" There was no pride left in her voice. No CEO armor. Just a terrified woman who didn't want to die alone. I didn't hesitate. I pulled her fully against me, wrapped my arms around her, and we clung to each other like children. At first it was purely survival, skin to skin through torn clothes, trying to stop the shaking. But somewhere in the middle of that freezing night, something shifted. We started talking. Really talking. She told me how she hadn't let herself cry since the funeral, how she worked 18-hour days because stopping meant feeling the emptiness. I told her about my failed marriage, how I'd missed my daughter's first school play because of a deadline she'd given me, and how much I resented her for it. Instead of defending herself, Elena cried, actual tears mixing with the seawater on her face. I became the monster I hated, she whispered. I thought if I stayed busy enough, the pain couldn't catch me. We shared our last sip of water from a small bottle that had floated by. We sang old songs to stay awake. At one point a shark fin circled us for 20 terrifying minutes. I sang louder, holding her closer, and somehow it passed. The more we talked, the warmer we felt, not from body heat alone, but from something deeper. For the first time in years, Elena let someone see the scared girl beneath the empire. And I stopped seeing her as the boss who ruined my life and started seeing her as the bravest person I'd ever known. Just before dawn, when I was sure neither of us had another hour left, she looked up at me and said, "If we make it, I want to live differently. And I want you beside me, not as my assistant. As my partner." I thought the cold had made her delirious. But her eyes were clear. At 6:47 a.m. we heard the helicopter. Coast Guard. Someone on another boat had seen debris and called it in. They lowered a basket and pulled us up together, still wrapped around each other like we'd never let go. 3 weeks later I walked into Pacific Dynamics for the last time, not as an assistant, but as the new vice president of innovation. Elena had restructured the entire company. No more midnight emails. Mandatory family leave. She even started a foundation in her husband's name for ocean safety. But the biggest change was in her smile. It reached her eyes now. And me? I pick my daughter up from school every single day. Every night before bed she asks me to tell her the ocean story again, and I always end it the same way. Sometimes the worst storm of your life is the one that finally brings you home. So here's the truth I learned on that piece of wreckage: titles don't matter when you're freezing in the dark. Money can't buy warmth. The only thing that can save you, really save you, is choosing to hold on to another human being when everything else is gone. If you're watching this right now and you feel alone in your own storm, whether it's a toxic job, a broken relationship, grief you can't escape, hear me, reach out. Say the scary thing. Ask for help. Let someone in. Because the person you least expect might be the one who ends up saving your life, and giving you a brand new one in return. You made it to the end, friend. Thank you for staying with us. Now go out there and be the warmth someone else is praying for tonight. The ocean taught us that second chances don't come from calm seas, they come from the storms that break us open. And we are living proof that broken things can still float, as long as we hold on to each other.